you want to refer,
Yeah, wait.
it's okay, I can answer questions as we go, I'm sure. Here's the natural waistline. See, here's the natural waistline. What I find is that people tend to put the pocket too close to the edge of the jacket. But remember, it has to be where the hips are. So when in doubt, make sure you know. Okay? So,
Another question. Do you have to put the material on your body to measure, or you have a particular measurement that you have to take?
I have a particular measurement, but I was just trying to give the visual too.
Okay.
When all else fails, put it where people put their hands in their pockets. It's not, it's not here, And I'm saying what I find students typically do, they put the pockets like here. Nobody holds their hands there, it's over at the hips. This is another reason why I marked the natural waistline, because this also gets into the pattern making. We usually put, for men, 3 inches down from the natural waistline will be where the pocket goes. For women, they do anywhere from 3 to 5 inches. Okay? So I think I like that 3 inch like we do men. I think I like that 3 inch down, so I automatically know I want my pocket to go there. Okay? Now, how far from the edge? Most of you may have a seam that's here, and then you have the side piece. And many of you may have that dart that's right there, because that's so typical. If you do have that, it'd be 3 inches down, and you'd start the end of the pocket a ½ inch in front of that dart. But we women, we may have some different here. So this is a princess seam. This is a natural side seam. So I really don't know where, but I think here, see, in the middle of this, looks like the good hip area. Okay? Make sense? So I don't know, this may be like 1.5 inches, inch and a half in front of the princess line. For women, I want to make it 5.5 inches, the opening 5.5 inches, so we can get our hand in it. For men, sample size is probably going to be 6.5. So we're 5, 5.5, 6, 6.5, okay? But remember, your hand has to get in it. I'm going to do it, I guess about 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think I'll do 5.5. Okay? All right. There's 5.5. And my first instinct is to do it straight across, right? Just perfectly straight. All right? But I want to raise the back side of this about 3/8 of an inch. And there's a reason why I'm doing that, instead of putting it perfectly straight. 3/8 of an inch. So I'm kind of putting this in at an angle in real life. You see? Now why am I doing that? I'm doing that because when something starts to go around something round, if it's perfectly straight, that pocket would look like it's kind of going downhill. If I raise that back side a little bit, it actually, once it gets on my body, it's going to look straight. Okay? So that's why I'm raising it a little bit. Okay, and we can kind of test it. Does it look straight? When really it's not. Okay? All right, now, I've already got my interfacing behind there. These are the pieces you're going to need to do the pocket. I'm going to need I call them lips. the 2 lips, and you're gonna want to make these. I'm doing mine out of leather, just because.
Oh, this,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Do we have to buy it?
Huh?
Where do we buy it?
No, you don't have to use leather.
Okay.
Use your fabric.
Okay.
I just, and in fact, sometimes when I have a striped fabric, I'll cut these
Can I
lips on the
get-
bias. Sometimes that gives
Can I
the
get
neat.
some of these from you? Can I get some? I want to use my lips.
Okay, isn't this nice? I couldn't resist. Yeah, I just, it's so soft, I couldn't resist it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna cut these lips. And remember, if I were using my fabric, I want the straighter grain of the fabric to be going across on the lengthwise of the lips, okay? And I usually want the lengthwise grain because that's the strongest direction of the fabric. So my jacket is cut with the grain going up and down here, but these lips are going this way because you want this the strength. Now, I've cut these lips bias before just because I want it to look like sometimes stripes, if you cut these lips on the bias, it gives a cool design detail, and then I'll interface them so they won't stretch to kingdom come, okay? Leather, I got some ease there, but I'm not gonna interface it. I hope that works. And I'm gonna make these lips, I want them to finish at 1/4 of an inch, so I'm going to cut them an inch wide. Might as well cut them both at the same time, right? And I'm going to make them 8 inches long. That's probably a little too much, but that will give you enough length to do any size pocket. So 8 inches. 8 inches long. This is the direction of the grain of the fabric, if I was doing fabric. And I'm going to make them an inch wide. I can hardly see the chalk on the leather, but actually, I need 4 of these because I've got 2 pockets, but I'm only going to do 1 right now. So I got the lips, okay. Now, I need a facing here because even if I have a flap, I want fabric right there. So when you open up the pocket, you don't see the pocketing. I'm going to use my lining as the pocketing. In men's, we usually use a tightly woven fabric called silicia because it's very tight and very strong, because you figure men have keys and all that stuff. We shouldn't be ruining the look of our pockets by doing what I'm doing and what we do with hands and all this stuff, but anyway, so I'm going to use my lining for the inside pocketing. And I've got 2 pockets. Okay.